I can't believe we are 1 year removed from this legendary promotion. The Bud Light disaster kicked off April 1st, 2023. And since then, as it's been pointed out, $1.4 billion had been lost. But we know the players involved. We know Bud Light sponsoring Dylan Mulvaney in a very ill-fated campaign costing, yes, Anheuser-Busch $1.4 billion. But what was this all in service to? Oh, right, it was supposed to drive attention to March Madness. Okay, the NCAA basketball tournament. Okay, how, we've gone over this in great detail. How, in any way possible, would this drive additional eyeballs to the product? Normally, March Madness is one of, if not the biggest tournaments in all of sports throughout the years. So this was a folly attempt and an ill-fated campaign because you're trying to leverage alcohol with somebody who has an expressively younger demographic amongst their viewership. So it was always interesting. And these are obviously topics that we have gone over ad nauseum. It's just really nice to set this up because, well, now with the NCAA going on right now and not quite having the same type of pushback thanks to Bud Light's insanity, well, if they want to get any extracurricular headlines, they're going to have to do it themselves. And while the men's side of the tournament, I'm hearing nothing but great things about the games. I used to like college basketball when, no, I've got nothing really against it. It's just, I ain't got time to watch all of that stuff. So, best of luck to all the guys that are involved. I know Alabama's going through a crazy run right now, so good on them. But also at the same time, the women are playing through their tournament. I bet you didn't know that, but it's not for a lack of publicity from mainstream outlets, because here you have ESPN features headline claiming women's tournament coverage is racist. Oh, okay, so you can't drive anybody. You can't attract attention. The game itself, so you just got to make outlandish claims. ESPN, never change. ESPN backtracked on a headline alleging coverage of the NCAA's women's tournament is racist. LSU plays Iowa in the Elite Eight Monday night. We'll be coming back to that game very shortly, and it's the center of attention in the sports world. Oh, you have no idea how prescient those words were. People can't wait to see what unfolds, but apparently some people would like to use it as an opportunity to lob allegations of racism and misogyny. Well, it's an inherently misogynistic game, given the fact that only women get hurt in female basketball, but okay. Instead of focusing on what's important to the game of the rematch between LSU and Caitlyn Clark, ESPN posted an Andscape article written by William C. Roden with the title, "The NCAA Women's Tournament is Better Than the Racist Misogynistic Press Coverage It Receives." Well, okay, I immediately reject your headline, and obviously ESPN eventually did, but they thought they could get some clicks out of that by just, simply outrage baiting. But if it was better than this faux coverage that you think is or is not taking place, you wouldn't need to write an article like that. So, oh well, big cell phone there. As soon as I saw the headline sent in as a tip, I had to wonder if it was an April Fool's Day joke. It was not. It was very real, and it seemed almost certain ESPN would change it. Lo and behold, they did, but it wasn't for former employees, picking up that same baton and running with it. You have Jamel Hill, complains Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn Clark receives more coverage than black players. See, this is the exact same stuff that's out there, man. Different outlet, same ideology. Caitlyn Clark is the best player in women's college basketball. She's the biggest television draw in the sport by far, which I don't know how you quantify that. How exactly do you multiply by 0? She's also white. Yeah, see, that's a problem. So maybe ESPN was right on something, or it is racist coverage. Anyways, and the latter point is one to which Jamel Hill mostly attributes Clark's stardom. Hill participated in an interview with Uproxx over the weekend where she said, while she appreciates Clark's contributions to the game, she thinks Clark receives more credit than she deserves for the growth of women's basketball. Yeah, she's the biggest star in the game right now, but she has the wrong skin color, so we need to go ahead and try to hold her back. Weird flex. Everything about this sport has been trending up for years now. You just can't tell by the audience, the coverage, the quality of the play. But no, it's all been trending up. Trust me, this screams everything that I'm hearing out of WWE. Oh my God, we're just right in the middle of a new attitude era. Everything's booming right now. Just don't pay attention to any of the viewership. It did not just start with Caitlyn Clark. Hill said, well, nobody's saying that. All they're doing is just simply pointing and going, yeah, that girl, she can ball. Crazy. Specifically, Hill blames the media for covering Clark more than double the rate it covers women of color. Hill cited Aja Wilson, a black woman who played for South Carolina from 2014 to 2018. What do you want, retrospective coverage of somebody who never did anything? Recently, at a point in time where you have the biggest tournament playing out right now, Jemele Hill, you're an idiot. There's a reason whenever I talk about women's sports, which is a little bit too much for my liking, but it mostly involves just, failed men's athletes, putting on a dress, put maybe a little bit of eyeliner in order to ball with the girls. Do it in a bit of a joking fashion because, hell, if the women aren't going to take their own sport seriously, why do I have to? Okay, because, we'll come back to the Iowa LSU game. On the other side of the bracket, you have UConn, just a long-touted powerhouse in women's basketball, looking to square off against the winner of the LSU Iowa game. Spoiler, it's Iowa. And one of the biggest stars over at UConn is Paige Buchers, who, if you can tell by the video that's right there, would be somebody that Jemele Hill would have a big problem with sports media covering. But, yeah, this is why trying to defend women's sports when they aren't even going to stick up for themselves. Why should I even bother? We'll play a little bit of this clip. All we need is just a bit of the context.
With the light that I have now, as a white woman who leads a black-led sport and celebrated here, I want to show a light on black women. They don't get the media coverage that they deserve.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Self-hating white woman. So why would I care? Why would I care? You're the best player. You just won an award. You won an ESPY for whatever that really means for being the best female player, and you want to self-flagellate. That's why I legitimately don't care about women's sports until a point in time it becomes absolutely hilarious when you have LSU, a women's basketball team, in the Final Four. This is a Final Four game, okay? You decide to skip out on the national anthem. Iowa and Caitlyn Clark, who's out there, and as you can see, they're all holding hands, and oh boy, yeah, it looks like there's quite a few crackers in that soup that is over there on that line, but standing opposite to them is just a big old empty court on the other side because LSU decided this is the first time throughout the entire year we're going to have any sort of eyeballs on our game, so now we've got to make this grand statement. Why exactly? I have no idea at all what we're talking about, but as you can see from Benny Johnson right here pointing out that, yeah, LSU had just got their ass beat. I think they lost 97-84. I could have a couple of the numbers. It wasn't exactly like a thorough routing, nor would you anticipate that from, a semifinals and a, gigantic tournament like that, but with the entire stadium cheering against them. Oh yeah, I would imagine so. Season over. Let this be a lesson to all players. The cringy, selfish, woke athlete moment is over. Really does seem that way. Social media buries LSU's Haley Van Lith for dreadful, Elite Eight. I thought it was Final Four. My mistake. Moving on to the Final Four. Performance in a loss to Iowa. Anyone expecting LSU's Haley Van Lith play a good game against Iowa watched in pure disgust Monday night. The shell of Haley appeared in the 94-87 loss in Albany against the top-seeded Hawkeyes. The former Louisville star might have actually made a mistake by joining the reigning champion LSU Tigers. Joining the Tigers siphoned the talent, nay the confidence out of Van Lith. Unable to play a lick of defense against the exceptional Caitlyn Clark. Don't talk about her, she's white. Not to mention the turnovers, Van Lith became the talk of Twitter, formerly X, for all the wrong reasons. Mostly because, she wasn't out there on the court. And why would anybody give a shit about supporting a team that is so goddamn ungrateful? But this is LSU. Last year, I think we talked about this at the same time last year, LSU won. Obviously, they're still the reigning champions and all that stuff. They got into a, fist fight with Iowa because the reasons. People were already predisposed and not really like LSU all that much. This is the same school that I understand that it's a different sport, but you have Shaq, one of the most pro American athletes to come out in the past 30 years, especially in basketball, you know, and that's his alma mater after all. And you guys pull that blatantly unpatriotic stunt. I'm glad you're getting roasted on social media. I'm glad you lost. May the best team win moving forward. And hopefully this truly is the death of the activist athlete. But at the same time, the only time that we hear about women's sports is honestly, you know, whenever lesser men move across the aisle, or when they pull cringy stunts like this. So best of luck in improving your game. I hear it's on the uptick, right? Jamel Hill, she says that all the time. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.